Exploring Local Farms. Video series created by the Ann Arbor Public Schools Environmental Education Program.
Hey everyone, my name is Nabil Kassim, and I ran CropSpot Farms for just over 2 years. CropSpot Farms was situated on the west side of Ann Arbor in a 40-foot shipping container. So it wasn't your typical farm where the crops were grown outside. So think about the back of a semi-trailer, for example. That was essentially the size of CropSpot Farms. All of it was grown indoors using a method called hydroponics, so no soil was involved.
A pump pushes water through tubes. The water drips down inside the white panels into the roots of the plants. This system uses a lot less water than a typical farm because the water doesn't evaporate or soak into the ground.
I was growing crops like lettuce, kale, chard, and other specialty herbs like cilantro and basil. The main thing that I grew though was lettuce. And lettuce was a tricky one because here in Michigan, especially during the winter time, it's really hard to come across fresh greens like that. So CropSpot, because it was all indoors, I was able to grow things year round. Our food will oftentimes travel across the country before it actually gets to our plate.
The trucks that transport food from far away use a lot of energy and create pollution in the environment.
One of the main goals of CropSpot Farms was to provide fresh food in the Ann Arbor area. You might be wondering, how do the plants grow if there's no soil? So in hydroponic farming, we use these things called grow plugs. I've also heard them been called before brownies, but you can't eat them. And these are made out of a combination of peat moss and coconut husks. So it's all natural materials. The seeds will be planted inside of these plugs, and these plugs will give the roots something to hold on to. And this is how the plants are then transported to the main grow area and eventually harvested. In the system that we grow in, we use LED lights to mimic the sunlight. And with LEDs, you can replicate the spectrum of light that the sun gives off. We try to use the red and blue spectrum, as those are found to be most beneficial for photosynthesis. And that's the way that the plants will then be able to grow into larger plants. Growing lettuce, because the part that you eat is the main part of the plant, you have to handle it more gently. And so it was advantageous to be able to grow indoors because there was more control on how it was being handled and what was actually being sprayed on the part that's being eaten. As you can imagine, growing outside, you have different pests and animals that are going to want to come and eat. But with indoor growing, you can really close out the outside environment and tune the environment in which the plants are growing. How hot or how cold it is. How much water are the plants growing? Essentially, how often is it raining? You can control things like how many nutrients are in the water. You might also want to control how much carbon dioxide are in the environment, since plants will breathe CO2 out of the air. We can use different technologies like computer programming to make sure that the farm is operating in a consistent manner.
Although I grew a lot of food while the farm was here in Michigan, I decided to stop farming for now. The farm has been moved to the Cayman Islands, where there isn't space for lots of large outdoor farms. With this system, the farm can grow food in a small space, year-round, while using a small amount of water. I hope you enjoyed learning about hydroponics. Maybe you'll be inspired to experiment with growing plants in water instead of soil at home or with your class. And I hope that learning about local farms is making you think about where the food on your plate is coming from. Thanks for watching.